All right, this video is going to kind of walk us through a little bit of how to navigate CM Connect as well as how to get to the Math Lab. So here's the main course page. I'll switch mine to student view so that you can see, look exactly what yours is going to look like. So it starts out with this course. A little bit about myself. I am your instructor, Chris Toma. Some of you may have met me around campus or not. So it goes through a lot of the stuff that's in the syllabus. Come down here, a hyperlink to Pearson where we'll do our quizzes and homeworks along with my ID. There is also a PDF below that will walk you through it. So I'd highly encourage you to read all of this. It's just a short snapshot of the syllabus. The final is proctored. So this thing over here in red is how you schedule it as well as the times you can take it. It'll be during the last week of the course. You can either take it at the testing center, an offsite proctor by clicking on the link, or you can do it through online proctoring services. Web pages. So these are where I'll post bookmarks. So here again is the link to my stat lab, which we'll click on in a minute. Here's a little video of how to make box plots without using like his Excel or StatCrunch. This is just a kind of a thing that I helped design in grad school. Univariate distribution relationships just shows you all the different distributions, just kind of a new thing. Course videos on YouTube. So I've made a YouTube page because some of the videos are too large to put on our course page. So I'll try to reference when I put some in here. There's only a few in there now. There'll be more as the course goes along, and as I create more videos, I'll just keep adding them. And then below that, where it says YouTube, is the just different YouTube videos that I have not made, but are good for you to watch if you want to get extra help. So I'm trying to create videos since we're not in the classroom. Handouts. This is a kind of walk through how to register for Math Lab. Here is a PDF of statistics symbols that would be very beneficial to print because you can quickly reference it for when you go to do the homework quizzes or the final. Tutorials are the videos that are short enough that I can put on the CM Connect page. So they're not loaded on the YouTube page, they're just loaded right here. So chapter 3. So what I'll kind of do here, these are kind of going to be mini lectures that I'll try to put on the tutorials. And what will be on the YouTube page is more of how to use technology and how to do calculations, because what I'll do is I will do some of the calculations using technology, Excel, and StatCrunch. And I'll record me doing a couple of the homework problems. So that way you can kind of have an example to go by. Well, under tutorials, these will be videos that are just me using my iPad as a chalkboard and giving a kind of overview what the material is. I didn't create one for week 1 because week 1 is, chapter 1, because chapter 1 is a lot of just definitions. Chapter 2 is a lot of graphing. So I've created that one already called histograms. And that one's loaded because it's a lot of it's using technology. But so you can see there's already some chapters way ahead on here, and we'll start creating others on here as well. Excel files, if there's any Excel files. So these Excel files, they're not going to help you with the homework or the quizzes. These are if you want to practice or if you want to do what I did in the videos. These are the Excel files I'll use in the videos. They also go down to here with these class problems. So typically in the class environment, we go have class problems that we practice near the end. These are the problems that we do in the classroom, as well as I post a solution set. So these are just good examples to look at before you do the homework if you're stuck. It kind of shows how to do some of the calculations through all the different. So first it talks about lesson numbers, and then it gets into sections, because the first couple chapters 1, 2, and 3 I cover lots of sections at once because they kind of link, and then I slow down through probability and all the other sections. So you can see they switch the section numbers. These are just additional things to help you. So the syllabus Click on the syllabus. Here is the entire syllabus. It is lengthy because we're online, so I put a lot of information in it. So I highly encourage you to read it well. A lot of different things in here, outlines, when things are due. We are only a 6-week course, so things go really quick. At the end of each week, there'll be a quiz. That's how I will take attendance. If you don't do the quiz, then I'm going to mark you as absent. There's a couple homeworks. I try to limit the number of homework problems so you're not overwhelmed, especially since we're such a quick, fast-paced course. Come back up to the syllabus here. So homework is 42% of your grade. Quizzes are 40% of your grade, and the final is 18%. So if you do the homeworks and the quizzes, you should be very successful and not have it worry so much about the final. All right, so I think that's all. And if you want, you can get the downloadable version if you want to print it. So week 1, I'll create weeks. So if you go into week 1 right now, there I have some discussions of me writing of what the chapters are about. So chapter 2, histograms, is all we're covering this week. We'll cover the rest of chapter 2 in week 2. Chapter 1, again, is a lot more about definitions. So I've kind of wrote mini announcements, but I create them as blogs. So you can ask questions here and I can answer them. Over here on week 1, this reminds you what is due. So read the sections, watch the videos. I'm currently creating the week 1 video. Chapter 2 histograms is on YouTube. And then there's your homework assignments and then a quiz. Keep in mind, it seems like a lot because in the 6-week period, in 1 week, we're covering almost a little over about 2.5 weeks of material in the 1 week we do it. So in the regular semester, this would be cut in half, but because we're doing it in half the time, it's double what you would do things. So just because the course is shortened, we're covering the exact same materials they do in 15 weeks. So that's why it can seem like a lot. All right. Collaboration, if you go here, this is a good place to see who's in the class. All right, you can click on, so 19 members currently in the class, click on course mates. This is where you can do chats and ask for help. I don't have anything under coursework because everything's on the Math Lab. And then here is where I will start putting the grades. So what I'll do, I'm going to average all those homeworks. Instead of putting each section in by itself, I'll average each week's homeworks. That will go in for your 6 homework grades. There's your 5 quizzes, and then the final. So that's basically what your grades are going to look like. All right, so let's go back to the main page. And then we'll come down here to my stat lab. So when you go to register, you need my course ID, which is my last name, and then the number 05246. Again, if you have never registered with MathLab, I highly encourage you to do MathLab registration. It's a PDF that will help you. If you've used MathLab in another course, then you just need to add a course. You do not need to create a new MathLab. As you will see here in a minute when I log in mine, I have all kinds of stuff on mine. You just have to create a new course. My internet at home can be slow at times. All right, so finally, sign in. I have found that using Google Chrome has made it a little bit easier. On Mac, Safari causes me issues. Sometimes Internet Explorer on campus using the PC causes issues. Google Chrome is a free browser. It seems to work better. So here's our course, TOMA 05246. I've already enrolled myself. Some of you have already started to enroll. And it's called the Summer Online Term 2. So click on that. Please reach out to me in the syllabus. I have my email and my phone. If you want me to respond quickly, I'd highly encourage you to text me. I don't get alerts on my phone from emails because we have to go through a web browser now for security reasons. So I have to actually log into the web browser. I try to log on it at least once a day, if not twice. But again, if it's something you want me to respond to quickly, please also send me a text message, and my phone number is in the syllabus. Oh, really slow today. All right, I'm gonna view. Come on, Pearson. There we go. All right, I'm gonna change it as the same view you have. All right, so when you log in, this is what you'll see. All right, I'll have a little calendar, announcements. I've never really used them. Maybe I'll start because this is the first online course I'm teaching. But most of my announcements will be on CM Connect. Here's what is due next. I've opened some of the homeworks early, so you can kind of see them. They're not, you do not obviously have to start them to the course start dates. They're due July 14th, as you can see, as long as the quiz. Here you can run a browser check to make sure your computer is running. If it's working in here, I wouldn't worry about it because sometimes you run that and people get a little frustrated because it says something's bad. We'll get into homeworks in a minute. You can view all assignments. Your gradebook is where I'll show you. StatCrunch is a software package that is available through MathLab while you have access to MathLab. You can use either Excel or StatCrunch. I'll kind of try to show both in the videos. The histogram video that's already uploaded is me doing chapter 2 histograms using Excel. I will do a little bit of one today using StatCrunch. eText is where you can get to your eText. Chapter contents is probably a good place to start because then you can just kind of go through here. So if I click on chapter 1, it has the 3 sections. It has, I can click do my homework, take my quiz and test, work in a study plan. Study plan is a good place to do practice problems before you get to the homework. It's got videos and helpful links. So you can click on these and then it goes into the sections. You can watch a video presentation, eText, study plan. So this is where you can kind of get additional help, kind of a classroom invite. These aren't things I've created. These are things that Pearson has created, but they are very helpful. So you can use these. So I'm trying to show you all the resources. So you have the announcements I'm going to post, the videos I'm going to post, stuff through Pearson, the e-text to read. So definitely play around, especially if you get logged in before the class starts. That way you can be comfortable with this MathLab because the fast pace of the material. I'd use this introductory week off book to kind of get familiar with what you need to do. So, because I'm in chapter 1, so let me go back to main menu because I'm going to go to chapter 2. And assignments. There we go. So you can see this is, I already got week 1's loaded. I'll do the 14th. You got 5 homeworks. Each one has about 5 or 6 problems. It shouldn't take you too long. Typically in a regular college course, you should spend about 9 hours a week doing work. Because we're almost 3 times as fast, you should be 24 to 27 hours. So when you think you're spending a lot of time in the course, it's again because we're accelerated. You're doing the course in half the time. So section 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 3 homeworks are just definitions. I'd highly encourage you to have your eText open in another tab. If you don't have the actual book, if you have the book, just have it open. It is literally just going through and finding definitions. So I'm not really going to do any practice of those homeworks because chapter 1 is just kind of overview of the definitions. 2.1 and 2.2 is kind of where we start to get into technology. So you can see C-score. I've already opened some of these and kind of messed around with them a little bit. I'm going to go to this one I've hit redo because I want you to kind of walk through it because it shows how to use some of the options in in the homework. Some of these options will not be available in the quiz. I'll open the quiz just so you can kind of see it. So here's one of the homework problems. Good tool here is Question Helps. You can do Help Me Solve This, which will walk you through how to solve the problem, but it'll solve this specific problem. Or you can view an example, which will give you an example of this problem, but not change your problem. So you can do either one. Help Me Solve This will do the problem you see before you, but then you'll have to redo another problem after you finish it. View an example will give you an example of this problem, and then you can work on this problem while looking at the example. I prefer view an example, but it's up to you which one. If there's any kind of video help through Pearson, it's loaded here. This is where you can access the textbook. StatCrunch is very useful. I'll show you different ways to open that. Or if you're really just stuck on a problem, click Ask My Instructor. It will send me an email of the problem you're working on, and I can answer and send back to you how to do that problem. Again, if you're working on the homework and you want to respond quickly, send me a text so I know that I have an email. Just because you send me a text doesn't mean I can get to my email quickly, but it does let me know I need to go to look at it. So for this problem, it has this blue box. So you either will have a big, I call it big because it's bigger than the one we're going to see, a big blue box like this to view data, or you'll have a little blue box right here that doesn't say view data. It'll just be a little blue box. But you open those and you can open the data. So the little blue box I'm talking about is this guy right here. So if I click on this, you can open it in StatCrunch. You can place it to clipboard and then put it into another software package if you don't want to use StatCrunch, or you can open it in Excel. So whichever software you like to use to solve your problems. The software will be open for the quizzes and the final. If it is not, please let me know because I've done something wrong. But I'm not taking the technology away from you. So I'm going to open it in StatCrunch because I already have a video on how to do this in Excel. Move this over. Move this over. And you can access StatCrunch just by itself as well if you go back to where we were in the home screen and you saw where it said StatCrunch. So this wants me to complete a frequency distribution, which is basically a way to say histogram. The thing is 2.2 is actually making histograms. 2.1 is making the table. What I'm going to do, though, because of StatCrunch doesn't have a histogram function under the stat thing, so what I can do is graph. So 2 areas you're going to play with most. Stat is where you do your analysis. Graphs are where you make graphs. But in this case, I am going to use the histogram graph to help me manipulate the table. Again, if you watch the Excel file, I show how to do the whole thing with tables and using Excel. All right, so my variable is called var1. See, this is the name, so that's what variable I pick. These are just kind of options. I can do frequency or relative frequency. So frequency counts how often something happens. Relative frequency is the percentage how often that happens. So we're going to go with frequency because the homework is asking for frequency. I'm going to start at the number it gives me, which is 3.47. And I am going to increase by, here it says, a class width, so that's how big my bars are, of 0.10. So 0.10, I don't think I did that right. I think it's a 0.1. Yep, missing a 0. 0.10. All right. Beginning thing is our stuff is supposed to look normal. Doesn't always have to, but it should. So if you want to kind of put an overlay to see how normal a bell curve looks, so I'm going to put normal on there, just it'll draw a bell curve. So a normal is just a bell curve, and we'll get into that a little bit more as we get further in the material. We want things to be normal in this course because a lot of the calculations and formulas we do must be normally distributed. All right, so some of the things in 2.1 and 2.2 ask, is your histogram bell-shaped? All right, I'm going to put the values above the bar. That's where I'm going to help create this table. If I don't click that, then I'm just going to get a picture and no values. I want the values because I need to build this table. This is where you can kind of label things if you want to, make things all nice and pretty. But for now, we're going to not worry about that until we get into some more graphing later. Because right now I'm just really looking to build a table. So I am going to click compute. And there is my histogram of my data. You can see if I had another low one out here, it might have looked a better bell, because values are increasing. I do have a high point and they're starting to decrease on this side. One more would have been really nice, but this is actually not too bad for the small data set we have because we only have, I believe, 30 data points. Yes, 30 screw lengths. So now the numbers above the bars are my frequencies. All right, so if I click on this, I know my lower limits are all these numbers. So I didn't label them because it's not small enough. But no, still didn't. See, I noticed they skip bars here, so be careful with that. But if you put your cursor over, you can see that's 3.49. So this means 3.48, 3.49, 3.50, and I should finish with 3.51. Those are, yeah, because 3.52 is the last number and it hasn't created a new bar. All right, so that's where I end. So my frequencies are my numbers above, so 2, 5, 7, 10, 5, 7, 10, and 6. And I'm not going into all the details, so read the announcements where it talks about what things are, read the book and stuff. This is basically, these videos are going to show us how to solve the problems using technology. All right, so here's where I go from 3.47 to 3.48. So I have to jump somewhere. So if I put 3.479, that will be my breaking point when I go up to 3.48. And here, we're in the classroom, I would actually use my fingers. So if you want, you can use yours because you can't see my fingers. But if you start at 3.47 and you count 10 fingers, you're going to end up at 479, or start at just 70 and count up. And 79 is 10 spaces. So 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79. That is a class width of the 1 0 in the second decimal place. So that's why that is a 79. But there's a pattern. This becomes 3.489. This becomes 3.499. 3.599 and 3.519. Nope, not 99. That doesn't. That should be 509. There we go. 7989990919. All right, let's see if I actually did this correctly. Perfect. So you'll get a next question if you did it right. All right. If you've done something wrong, so let's see if I go to the next one. I'll get it wrong so you can kind of see what to do here. Oh, so cumulative frequency. So this is the basic of the same thing. Close this. Open this up. Open in StatCrunch. As you can see, again, we're going by tens. So if you come in here and you do graph, because we don't have tables. My frequency. This time I want a relative. Oh no, it wants cumulative frequency. So this one will be a little bit harder in StatCrunch, but we'll kind of talk about it for a minute. What we'll do. Actually, we really don't even need to do any of this, but we'll do it anyway, just so you can get a picture of how to build one of these real quick. I'm going to start at 20, and again, I am counting by 10. Put the values above the bar, click compute. And this one you can see is definitely not bell-shaped. All right, but you can see we get the same. Oh no, something didn't work out right here. Why didn't you do? Oh. Let me try it again. I must have clicked on something wrong. I must have missed something. Graph. Frequency. Start at 20. Group at 10. Values above the bar. Compute. Why is this thing not starting at 20? Okay, what is wrong with this thing? Create histogram. My frequency. Oh, because it's not data. You can't do it this way. That's why. Helps if I pay attention to what I'm doing. So good to see that I make mistakes as well. Yeah, this is not raw data. This is just how frequent something is. So doing this in StatCrunch doesn't help. You could do it in Excel. All right, so I'll show how to do this one using Excel instead. So now you can see open it in Excel. I like this better with Excel because we're counting. Cumulative frequency, I can shrink this so you can see both, is you're adding these up, right? So you can see here, when I'm less than 30, which is between 20 and 29, my frequency is 28. The confusing part is when now I'm less than 40, that also includes the 30. So therefore I have to add 28 and 34 together and now give me all the numbers less than 40, right? So you can do this using a calculator or you can do this using Excel. So in Excel, if I put an equal sign in Excel, it turns it into a calculator. So this first one equals 28. The next one equals the 34. And if you click on the cell, it remembers its number, so I don't have to type it, plus this one above it. So you can see I get 62. So now I type in a 62. And I can keep that pattern going. Equals this number plus the number above it, 74. All right. What you can do in Excel is if you highlight these things and come to the bottom, so big across, little across, drag it down, it will remember your formula. No, it did not. Why ain't you doing what I want you to? Why ain't you adding? All right. Try that again. Delete. Maybe I don't click them all, just click that guy. There we go. So I've added all the previous's, and I finished with 85. A nice little check. I'm going to make my Excel bigger so you can kind of see it. If I highlight all of the frequencies and I hit this auto sum button, which is a summation symbol, I get 85. These two numbers must be the same. If they are not, that's the first sign you've done something wrong. Mine are the same, so that means are good. So I'm going to put in a 60, which would be 81, tab, 83, how am I off? 28, 62, 7, oh, make sure you're lined up correctly, 76, 81, 83, and I'm going to mess up this one, I'll put 84, just so you can see what happens if, how you can fix something. So I think I've got my cumulative frequency. They're supposed to add up to my thing, and as you can see right now, it does not. So I hit check answer, and it says at least one of those is incorrect. The cumulative frequency is the sum of the frequencies for that class and all previous classes. So it gives you a hint, right? So I can check my work. I'm like, oh, I just typed something wrong. And 85, check answer. So you do get a chance. Again, if you're stuck on a problem, so we'll go to the next problem, see what that one is. This is relative frequency. So this is the one I was actually trying to do before with StatCrunch when I was messing it up. Again, here's your data set. But again, it's in the wrong things, so StatCrunch is not going to work. StatCrunch is not going to work if you have raw data. This is why I prefer using Excel, because Excel lets you kind of manipulate things. So what you would do is then, again, I can close this. Don't save, because I don't want to keep it. Open using Excel. And this one I'm not going to do the whole problem, that way you can kind of see how to do it. But a relative frequency is, again, is a percentage. It's a proportion. It's a ratio. All kinds of different words. It's a probability. So I'm going to sum these, because to find relative frequency, you take your total. So I remember type this in here, total. And that will be your denominator. And then your numerator is your frequency. So equals this number, your frequency of how often plot error does, divided by total. And now it says round to one decimal place as needed. Notice these have percent symbols over here. Therefore, this should be a percent. So if I click on this, it turned into a percent. However, this says round to one decimal place. So if I come in Excel, I click over, and now it's in one decimal place. And my first answer will be 22.9. Again, you guys write those down. Now, if you want to do the drag technique, these cells can change, but my denomination not change, right? So to lock a cell in Excel, you put dollar signs in front of the letter and the number. On a Mac, you have to hand type them in. On a PC, you can just hit F4, function 4. All right? Oops. But don't click in cells like I just did, because then it just adds to your formula. So do the tap back out, hit enter. All right. Oh, I deleted my 7 by accident. There we go. All right, now you can see I can drag it down, and it automatically changed to the next row, but did not change my denominator. Now, stop, and don't do what I do and keep clicking in cells. Hit enter. So then this next one is 4.2. And then you can continue down, dragging down, and get your answers. All right. If you want to come back to it later, like, oh, I got to go somewhere, I got to save this, you can just click save. It will save my work. You can see I've got part of these done. If I go back to 8, which is the one I was on, it should have kept my numbers in there where I finished. Yes, so it's saved where I was at. So I'm just going to click close. So that's how you do the homeworks. Each one, you know, 1 to 10 questions-ish. And then you can always go back and see your score so you can continue to improve if you want. Alright, so now going into the quiz, you can see I already have started a little bit because I wanted to make sure it works properly. So we go open the quiz. Yours will say start test versus finish test like mine is saying right here, but I'm going to hit finish test. And because I started it, I'm at the question. So on the question help, you notice now all they have is the textbook, StatCrunch, Ask My Instructor. So the problem, the view an example, or help me solve this are now gone in the quizzes. Quizzes are going to be typically 20 questions, so I know it is a lot, but this is how I'm going to do assess your understanding of the material. It was between the homework, the quizzes, and the final, so I want to give 3 different methods to assess so I get a good assessment of you instead of just having one. So here's a test question. Determine whether the sampling method describes below are sound or flawed. Again, this is from chapter 1. I'm going to say it is flawed, just making a guess. Now, I will hit the arrow to go into the next question. Again, don't use my answers because I don't even pay attention to the problem. All right, QQ plot. We'll say it's C. I'm just guessing again. Now, notice the save for later popped up. You have to finish the question you're on before you can hit save. Then you can hit save, and now it's going to warn you when I come back, you can't re-access this question. It's going to take you to question 5. So I'll even show it. So are you sure to use it? Yes. Right, and now I go back into it. I can say finish the test. And notice now I'm on question 5. So make sure you answer the question. You see it now saves grayed out. I have to give it an answer before save can pop up. All right, so that's how you do the quizzes. And when you're finished, you click submit quiz. I'm going to hit yes, even though I haven't completed it, because I want to show you what you can do here. And now go to the results. So it won't let you view because you have to take it a second time, right? But you can at least say I got the actually, I guess right on that one, I guess. First 4 questions I didn't answer question 5, so, and then these are all the ones I didn't do. Go to results, brings you back to your grade book, and I can click review. And so I cannot review until after the due date has passed. Once the due date has passed, you can come in here and learn from your mistakes. The reason I do this, you do get 2 chances, so you'll kind of see the questions you can go review. But if I post the results, the questions in the second attempt of the quiz are exactly the same as the first, right? And then you can just copy it, and I can't tell if you've actually learned any of your the material. So that's why you can't review until after you have completed the due date. That way, now you can learn from it for the final. But as you saw, if you kind of write down what the questions are about, and if you missed it, you can go review that topic before you go back in and take it. You can see I've completed 2 of the 10 homeworks, again, because they're not all up yet. Quizzes are 1 of 2 because there's only 2 quizzes posted. But as this fills up, you'll see everything. You can see how many points I've earned and kind of my grade to get an overview of and what my scores are and how long I've spent doing it. All right, so that's how you use the Math Lab to complete your quizzes and your homeworks. The only thing that will be proctored is the final. Make sure you pay attention to the schedule. Don't fall behind. Again, I will have everything open so you can work ahead, because if you're going to have other obligations, I'd rather have you work ahead than fall behind, because in a 6-week course it is hard to catch up, so it's better to work ahead. And if you get stuck, have questions or concerns, please email me. And if you need a quicker response, please text me. All right, good luck with the course, and we will talk throughout. Have a good day.